Broadcasting live from sunny South Florida, this is KMA Talk Radio. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars. Your KMA crew, the Italian Scallion, Paul DeGracco, Alex Tavella, a.k.a. The Goat, and always telling it like it is, Honest Abe.
I like to smoke them like the Winston Churchill, like John Kennedy, yeah. Remember Coach Red Auerbach, smoked up for victory, yeah. Well, you can take my wife, you can take my car, but you can't take my big cigar. My cigar.
Good morning to all our loyal listeners, libertarians, and lovers of the leaf. Honest Abe here. We are broadcasting live from sunny South Florida, and I'm here with the gang, as always, the man they call the GOAT, and none other than the rumorless and teaseless free William the Scoop Cooper. Good morning, genitalia.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are we doing today?
We're doing, man. We're doing
great.
I was up early.
I saw you were up early.
Well,
You had some
Marissa,
chess championship you were watching?
yes. That's actually still going on, insanely enough. But no, Marissa and the kids, they slept out last night. They went over to her friend's house. So nothing like a kidless and womanless night of sleep. You know what I mean? Where you actually like sleep through the whole night. So I popped up at 6. I'm like, oh man, I slept all the way through. This is great. I don't get this that often.
Wow. How's the little guy feeling? Better?
Yeah, I think he's all right. He was like semi sick, but mostly didn't sleep, so he was miserable and a little bit sick. So
Going through the fun teething years?
yeah. Just a couple left, I think. A couple molars, maybe.
Koopa, what's going on? What's the scoop? Anything good going on?
Oh, it's a good week. Can't complain for sure. It's we had like 4 days of like I'm telling you monsoons here in Charlotte. The rains just pulled out yesterday, but it was like nonstop rain for 4 days here.
Do you go to the Queen City Cigar Festival?
No, okay. It's not. It's kind of far from me. But most of the reasons why I haven't gone is that is the week we've normally taken family vacation. And this year we're actually not taking a family vacation, so I may make an appearance. I didn't buy a ticket or anything. There's actually 2 of these festivals going on in Charlotte right now, and they're competing with each other. So
really,
this week is Charlotte Cigar Week, and then next month is the Queen City Cigar Festival, and they both kind of compete with each other for the most part. So like Juan Cancel was up here this week, and Terrence Riley were up for the Charlotte Cigar Week. I know this other one's going on in May.
which one's been around longer? You know,
Actually, Queen City was around a year before, and it's my understanding that one of the founders of Queen City went and started Cigar Week the following year.
And Abe, you're heading to one of those?
Yeah, Queen City is, I believe, run by our dear friend and smoking supporter, Drita Hyde. So, it's not Hyde anymore. She got married.
Yes.
I keep forgetting.
McClown? I want to say McClown, maybe something.
McGlone, maybe McGlone. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's the host, and they actually invited me and a few other people. I think Eric Espinosa is one of them as panelists. So a Q&A session with some industry people. So I'll actually be in your neck of the woods next month.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let me know for sure. Yeah, it's like I said, that takes place more in Charlotte proper, for sure. But both of those festivals, I'll say, they've done very well for a short amount of time. And the fact that we're supporting 2 of them right now in the city is a pretty amazing thing.
And 2 of them really kind of close to each other too. It's not really that much time between them, but this is a community that loves to get together, man. It's one of the things. I mean, I think a word was created out of this community. Herfing. I mean,
Right.
Was based out of just the phenomenon of cigar lovers gathering, getting together, spending time, and enjoying the company and enjoying good cigars. So, I'm happy to see any of these cigar festivals thrive. I think it's just good for the culture.
It's good for the city.
Whole.
Yeah. it's good for not just this city, but every city.
So Alex, our man who's really has been enjoying making the now weekly graphics that you guys are all seeing for the show,
Yes.
and entitling them. That's like his new hobby. Mount Fuji and the Flyin Hawaiian. I'm assuming your Flyin Hawaiian is Paul DeGracco.
Yes. Which is actually fitting because his excuse
This week.
for not being on the show is that he's currently in the air flying home. He'll be on so
that's the Flying Hawaiian.
that covers the Flyin Hawaiian
Okay.
part
That's
of the title.
he is just becoming the man of 1,000 excuses. I mean, because how did you not know when you're flying back?
Goop.
Yeah.
It's not has become.
Yes,
He is.
Yes,
He is.
He is.
He's been.
Yeah.
He has been, is, and always will be.
You know, I almost didn't want to do the thumbnail and the title, but it was a catchy title, and I liked it. I didn't want to give him that much play, you know.
Right.
But I just it was catchy, and I liked it. But yes, Paul has failed us once again, and is. I mean, look, Paul is, you know, at this point a guest, a guest host who makes cameo appearances on the show, and you know, he's questionable. No.
No, we do not.
No. That ship has long sailed.
You guys smoking anything interesting this morning?
All right, if you're gonna, go ahead. You up first, Alex.
No, I'm just going to fire up a brulee in a minute. That's about it. Nothing crazy. Wow, you went digging in the stash?
No, man. I got this from our friend
Buffalo
Kevin
Town.
Shahan. I can't. I think it's called. Oh man, my eyes are getting that bad. Cirque, sell something. Kevin
Yeah, I saw him post something.
is making whatever. So I'm gonna light this up. He gave it to me. I'm gonna light this up during the show and see how it is. If someone knows how to pronounce it or what it says, man. Either my eyes are getting bad or there's like a blurry label.
It's you're getting there, Abe, like with me.
I know.
Yeah.
Coop,
I mean,
Listen, in my defense, I've had 2 corneal transplants, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Abe, you're gonna prove it this one.
But you know, still say it's one of the best $5 sticks out there.
Abe says it, man. With proper marketing, that will be the new Rocky Patel edge, man.
And you know what? It should have been by now. But you know what?
Should have
I
been.
don't see the market. I mean, they got an ad here on KMA Radio, and I wish to say we could move the universe for them, but I just don't think they're getting behind it. But I'm telling you right now, as far as $5 sticks goes, as far as maybe most $6-7 sticks, it's hard to go. It's hard to go wrong with that cigar.
Bear, who I work with, and my partner in crime, he this was his number 2 cigar last year.
Wow.
I mean, Buffalo, you actually turned me on to the whole Buffalo 10 line, but then he got involved and started smoking the Connecticut's, and like I said, it is an amazing value.
Really is.
And great morning. This is a great morning stick too to have.
And that company, Artista, they're completely up and down. Right, grow their own tobacco. I mean,
linear. Yeah, I wasn't sure what you meant by up and down. Yeah, they're completely linear. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and they have a lot of good lines. I mean, they're known for the big poppy cigars. I don't actually think that's the best cigars. They have a lot of other cigars that are better, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
So coming off an interesting week last week, it's very cool to have Guy Fieri on. Man, that was a great show for me. What a just down to earth guy as always. You know, we messaged a little bit after the show. He wants to try to come back for episode 500. It's going to be a little hard to coordinate right now, and it's pretty tentative. But it looks like our episode 500 is going to land. What do we say, June 24th?
24th,
Yeah.
You know, and we still haven't confirmed that Paul's availability that day, but I think we have it, even if he's not there.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
No, it's you know what was funny about Paul, you know, so leading up to that show, leading up to his trip to Hawaii, but even before Guy's on, he's like, hey, I'm gonna do a show from Hawaii.
Yes.
Paul,
No. First, he said before we had a tentative date is don't book it this or this date because
that was his first try. Right.
He really wanted to be available when we had Guy on.
Right. You're right. That's correct. And then he's like, "Well, I'll get up at 4 in the morning. This won't be any problem." And Abe, I think you said to him like, "There's no way this is gonna happen, right?"
I didn't even like entertain it for like
Right.
a half. I think my first response was, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Right, literally.
You are not getting up. Oh, it's easy. The kids go to bed and blah blah blah. But he's just one of these guys. Everything is justified in his universe. Everything, every letdown, every disappointment. He's got a great story for it, and he feels okay with it.
But then, look, I've defended Paul on a lot of this. I've been kind of a little bit more in his camp, but
That's because you're the noob.
You haven't dealt with the disappointment.
You haven't dealt with it for years.
But this one, I can't let this one go. I mean, how do you I overslept? He admits he overslept.
Right.
I overslept.
I overslept.
Get the hell you overslept.
I mean, I don't get it.
We just had the couple from Alaska said they're up at 3 a.m. to watch this every week. I mean, this is one week you could have got up and did this, Paul.
Yeah.
Right, for the one show that he wanted to be on.
Yeah. Jose Blanco did my show. He got 4 in the morning in Macedonia to do my show.
It's easy. You just don't go to bed, man. Don't go to bed. But yeah, Paul didn't happen. But there's still a chance we might be able to get Guy on here, but his schedule, man. I'll tell you what, man. That guy really churns and burns.
Well, I mean, even if you were listening to him during the show, he was like doing something after the show and then heading somewhere else after that. Yeah. I mean, nonstop.
And a little of the inside baseball behind the show is like about 40 minutes into it, his assistant was on and said, "Hey, we need to wrap this up." Yeah. And Abe actually says, "Yep, we'll do it." And Abe started the process of wrapping up. And Guy's like, "No, I want to stay."
Right?
Yeah, he wanted to. So we just kept going. We said,
"Yeah,
yeah."
She was in our private chat. Like, we need to wrap this up because we told them like it'd be like a 20-30 minute segment.
Right.
I stayed on for about 90 minutes. So I know he came on at the top of the hour, so he stayed on for about an hour.
About an hour, which is a long time for a celebrity. They're not used to doing that.
Yeah, it was double time. We told him it'd be over easy. So we told him like 20-30 minutes. So she's like, "We got to wrap this up." I'm like, "Okay." So the second I got open, I was like, "Listen, Guy, I know you're a busy guy. I know you got places to be really pretty." He goes, "Oh, I got nowhere to go. Let's go."
Right. You tried to ease into it.
Let's go. Yeah.
So, I mean, at that point, sorry, lady, but, the man has spoken.
I was really surprised. We talked a lot of cigar talk with him. Like, I thought we may get into other things, but that was most of that conversation was related to cigars. Which I think
he has enough outlets to talk about all his other things.
Yeah. I think
this is the one outlet he can really. I mean, he's not going on the Food Network and talking about cigars. So I think he was happy to have an outlet where he could really like freely speak about that passion part of his life.
Yeah, there were a few people who watched who I know aren't cigar people at all, and they knew I was going to be on with him, and they came back to me and they said, they understood everything he was saying about cigars, and they were really fascinated. They got, like I said, they were fascinated with cigar culture and asking me questions after this, basic questions, but still, I think it said a lot for what he's doing for the industry, just when you kind of connect with people like that.
Well, I think if you're part of any kind of culture, then you're usually relatable to another culture. I think sometimes when people don't get cigar culture, they just haven't been part. I mean, because there's wine culture. I mean, there's hundreds of cultures out there. Their own communities and their own thing. But I gotta tell you what, man, still think ours is the best one.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot, like you said, a lot of people, if you haven't experienced the community at all, you don't realize how they all kind of have the same, characteristics, nuances of certain things that kind of, if you have an interest, a hobby, it's not just, there are very few communities that have their own characteristics that don't necessarily, intertie into another one. And no, he's really become a great ambassador for the community. And I posted that video earlier this week, and it was just really a great words from him, just talking about the right, you only get one chance to have the right meal, the right cigar right now. You're never going to get a chance to be able to have that moment again, make it the right one. Hence justifying Abe's obsessive compulsive dinner
planning.
Yes.
Planning. Did anybody catch Saka on the dojo verse last night?
I did.
I did, and I went. Oh, I caught that he was like on an hour early and fired up his last Wagashi. I saw that.
You know, I know Steve. There's like a 75% chance that's like his advertising post.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That I'm good, right?
100%.
Steve getting on an hour early for anything.
He got a little
He knows.
grumpy in the last 15 minutes. Like he wasn't grumpy Sokka, but in the last 15 minutes, a little grumpiness started to come out.
I don't know. He basically bashed the whole state of Colorado in the first like 3
Oh,
minutes
yeah.
of the show. Like literally, first 3 minutes in, he like decimated the state of Colorado. No, Steve's always a pleasure to watch, and it was more than just about Wagashi, so it was nice. So,
Yeah, like the dojo guys were hitting him up with a lot of the industry stuff in the last 15 minutes too, and that's when he started getting a little grumpy.
That's also probably the come down of the booze. You know what I mean? He goes up, but then he kind of starts.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was thrilled that they're moving the trade show to the spring, but what he was emphatic about is I don't want it. He doesn't want the trade show to move to different locations.
hashtag who cares?
Soccer cast.
But yeah, I mean, I get that it's a problem moving it every year.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So much stuff to store and haul is just
Yeah.
easier to have it. Interesting thing. How negatively? I mean, because Steve was the first person that I heard of. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a few of them of people who are not going to go to TPE because of the time frame now that they're so close.
Just too close.
How negatively do you think this move will impact the TPE as far as the premium cigar industry side, Coop?
I think it will have a negative impact more.
Little bit, a lot.
A lot. I think
Yeah.
what Steve said last night was very telling. I'm not doing this twice.
Yeah.
He said it may work for some companies, but I don't see that. I don't see the show moving because I still think premium cigars is a small part of that show. So I think there's a different agenda. But he's the first one who came out and basically said, "I'm not doing this." Maybe a couple of other companies have. So it is going to have a negative impact. A significant one.
It's funny because there's always that thing I call the domino effect. Once people start that, and then other people say, well, you know what? They stopped going, and it's no big deal. And they stopped going, and they stopped going. I think this may really slice out and put a carve of premium cigars in the TPE show.
I agree. I agree. You know, there was Drew Estate and Altadis. I know we're going to talk about Altadis in a little bit. They were the bigger companies that were really buying into TPE. What are they going to do is the question. They had pretty large booths, both of them. So now what are they going to do next year?
Well, we got some news today about Altadis, so we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah. But I think that
the horizon is changing.
But it's definitely changed. Yeah, it's definitely when this happened. Like I did predict it would be 3 to 4 years, so I'm about right. But I thought they'd all be back in 3 to 4 years. It's still a little slower, but Sokka was claiming he predicted 2 would be back this year, so he's like claiming victory.
Yeah, First off, as far as I'm concerned, STG has not officially returned to the trade show.
They're just hijacking booths right now.
Right. I don't think Forge. I think as a company, if you ain't there in your own booth, because to show one line or 2 lines that you snuck into another division of your company's booth, out of the 800 SKUs that you probably sell, it doesn't mean you came back to a show. And them coming back to the show is not just being there in some form of presence. Nobody cares about that. It's about coming back and being supportive of the show, which means they take their normal or reduced, but still a significant size of a booth space, sponsor segments of the show. That's when you're back in the show. Not that, hey, I snuck a line in Matt Booth's booth. So, and you know, Alec Bradley's booth may be that booth. You know, do you see SPG having an Alec Bradley booth and not coming back next year?
I think they'll be back next year full force.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If they don't bring their old booth, because I can't remember. Alec Bradley's booth is not a teeny booth.
It's not. I mean, you remember like General's booth going back to trade was like a trade show within a trade show.
It was a city, like Davidoff too.
It was like a city. Yeah, it was enormous. This is going to be a smaller booth for them. from general standpoint. I mean, this is going to be probably about a quarter the size.
Yeah, but the booth this year is going to be an Alec Bradley booth.
I think they're going to rebrand it a Ford's booth, from what I understand.
Okay, Forge.
So we're getting there.
But,
we're getting there.
Yeah, but I don't, because I don't think they're going to use, like, they'll have probably an area for Alec Bradley, but I don't think it's going to be all Alec
Why
Bradley.
is Forge not a line? Forge is a division. Who said it's a line? It's a division of the company, Forge.
It's a sales channel.
You know, Jay, you're a retailer. I'm assuming you cut checks to Forge and you cut a different check to STG. So
I actually get like
Forge in general. Yeah.
Forge.
Yeah, sorry,
separate.
Forge. Yeah,
Forge does separate fulfillment from General. I mean, when we get samples, yes, media gets free samples.
Did I see Forge was a line? I'm talking. He's maybe confused. I'm talking about when Matt Booth had a room there, and they got that LSD, which really wasn't a no, they had Sancho Panza, which was a General cigar. That's what it was.
They Trojan horsed it in there.
They Trojan horsed one line. That's what I'm talking about, line. So I'm not sure. And Jay, you've gotten a lot of bones from me, pal. You know,
I think this is how I'm looking at it. You know, there's certain brands that are very iconic, and I know a lot of new smokers are all into the news, but once we have brands like Monte Cristo back there, Macanudo back there, you know, Davidoff. I mean, when these like big lines are back, then I think we'll be able to say the trade show's back. We're still kind of in this flux right now. Well, I think things are changing compared to 2 or 3 years ago, but we're changing right now. But
no, the landscape's definitely on a move, and it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
How now? This will be interesting. How do you think the impact? Well, I'm not really that 100% point on date times, but the TPE and the TA are going to be now close next year. Yeah.
No.
Not the TPE. I mean the PCA show.
Yes, those two. Yes, TPE.
PCA are going to be close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think there'll be an impact that way?
I think you're going to see more people go to PCA. I think you'll see maybe what you may see is like maybe if a company can get one of those a small booth and they could. There's certain cigars that sell very well at TPE. I was just talking to Omar from Fratello, and his short filler stuff has done very well at TPE. So maybe that's a channel he goes to kind of focus on that piece. But I still think all the main releases are going to come out at PCA. So I don't think TP is going to take any of that away, and I think all the companies that have a choice and have been going to both for years are going to go to PCA.
Dan, I don't think it's been a secret. I think that's been talked about for a long time.
I mean, they essentially have that.
You know,
they have the outlet, but
Yeah.
I mean, they have people have, I mean, 9 weeks in a row of a new release, so it's
nuts.
It's nuts. I mean,
Wild.
they could get wild. Yeah, we're going to talk about that later, I know, but yeah, they're able to, and I don't know what they're going to do with the normally when General was at the trade show, there were about 20 to 30 new SKUs that came out, which is a lot.
This is an interesting statement. Does anybody buy that story?
Blended?
No.
Allison might, but I mean,
I know she may. I think she's making a little humor there, but no way. But yeah.
I mean, Allison, the news came out literally like a month before the trade show.
Yeah. Matt was also.
How long do you think product development and blending partakes before it's ready to show at a show?
And I'm not going to knock Matt. He's a good guy, but Matt was involved with the repackaging of that. That was his baby.
Sancho Panza?
Sancho Panza was a packaging project he had been working on for over a year with them.
Maybe that's what led to the acquisition. That could have been a
from what I when I talked to Justin, it sounded like when they were working with Matt on that project that they got a feel for possibly taking the relationship to another level.
Okay, that makes a little
sense. So because they already knew what they were getting with Matt. It wasn't like he was a complete unknown.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense because if he was working on it as a Room 101 guy, and that led to what happened, that's fine. But I mean, man, it's if it's showing at the show, I mean, you couldn't have been acquired a month prior and say I was involved in this project. It's just not happening.
No, no, and you mentioned the other one. The LSD project was the other one he was involved with too, and that was the same
Yeah.
thing, a packaging thing that he had done.
Yeah, it could have
Um,
been it could have been projects that were in development while
Yeah.
they were still not even contemplating
Yeah,
an acquisition.
yeah,
Well, we have a friend and an
Yeah.
interesting guest on today who has one heck of a story to tell us about his drive to climb a mountain to help raise money. Let's get him on. There he is.
Hey,
Hey,
how's everybody
Jimmie.
doing today, man?
What's up, my friend? How you
Thank
doing?
you. Good. Thank you for having me on. Yes.
awesome, man,
Yes,
awesome.
I'm climbing that mountain right there.
Crazy.
Yes, it is.
By the way, great hat. By the way,
Yeah, I thought so too. It's a very
yeah.
colorful
Unless
hat.
you ask Alex Tavella, no one wants to wear that hat.
Nah,
It's
I like
funny.
it. I like it. I just didn't
people
wear it today.
compliment me on this hat if I wear it outside. That's
In
cool
one of our
hat.
surveys, we sent the survey out to people who went to the Great Smoke. It's really funny. We had about a half a dozen people, 3 that were adamant, that just say, "Why would you make the most disgusting hat ever? It's ridiculous." I mean, one, you got it for free, so take the hat, whatever. For it. But we've been seeing a lot of people wear them. I've seen it on social media and whatever. So
It was a
It's a nice
fantastic springtime hat. It's got all the right.
I liked
colors.
it. I liked it. I thought it was cool.
I mean,
I don't dislike
let's
that.
let's be real. It's not far off from Laker colors, and Lakers hats are abound.
It was a little. It's a little hard to match the hat, is what I'll say. Sometimes.
That's my point.
It wouldn't
Yes,
match with this,
yes.
but it's a nice hat. I just didn't go with this shirt today. That's why.
Wow. That would be my wife telling me that I need animals to dress. Because
Yeah, that's like
I have
my
no,
wife
I
and
have
daughter are
no
the same
color
way.
or thoughts. So she
Yeah, my
goes
wife
out
and daughter
shopping.
is.
She goes out shopping for clothes for me and comes back, and I said,
Yeah.
everywhere I go, I said, what do I wear with this? And she goes, don't you know colors? And I said, no, that's your job. So put little tags. This goes with that. Give me a spreadsheet so I know how to dress every morning.
Now, Jimmie, how long have you been in the cigar media world with your?
10 years.
Wow, it's that
It's
long.
going
Look at that.
10th year, yeah, absolutely.
God bless. Good for
Yeah,
you.
great job, Jimmie.
It's been and Coop knows it's a grind. You get your up moments, your down moments, but you know what? You got to sustain in this business. You just got to keep pressing. You got to have that, indomitable spirit, as I say, for my martial arts. You got to do it, man. Don't stop.
I don't know if you guys get this or not, and I seldom get it. I mean, if I get it once or twice a year, it's probably rare. But what people don't realize is, man, sometimes you just have that morning, you're like, man, I just am not up to doing a show today.
Yep.
I mean, I just don't have it in me. And then you got to come, and then you got to turn it on, and
It's tough.
right, I wish you don't. And I think that's what gets me through is because I always realize that on those days when the show's over, I'm like, oh, that was a fun show. I'm glad I did it. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's tough to
Right.
break that wall sometimes.
And that's the thing. It's not just like getting up at this time and being is one thing. 10 o'clock's not is 6 a.m. But getting up and being in show form and putting the show face on. And sometimes you're just like you were up late or you were out late or something was going on. You didn't get a ton of sleep, and you're like, but you got
Sometimes you're just not up for it. I mean, I think I recall once I may have texted you guys and said, look, guys, you got to carry me today. I'm just not.
right.
I'm not
Right.
feeling it. I'm going to struggle. I feel it right now. Just be on the lookout. You might have to carry me a little bit today.
Yeah.
But we get through it.
Yeah, I know. I think Jimmie has done two really good things with Stogie Press. If you're not familiar with it, first of all, if you're looking for what's new and boutiques, Jimmie's on top of that. I mean, he's on top of all these newer companies, these smaller companies, and the boutiques. And the second thing is when this guy goes out and covers an event, he captures the vibe of an event so well and that's something I look for. I almost feel like I'm there with Jimmie. And Jimmie, you've done a great job with those two things, and I wanted to just say that to you on this show today.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I also understand you're one of the really few people who reviews lounges.
I do.
Yes, he is.
That's
Wherever I go, if I'm going anywhere in the world, whether it's business or pleasure, I find a lounge. I always go in, I take photos, and I talk to the owner. And then at the end of the year, maybe I went to 5 or 6 new lounges, let's say, right? I always come out with what I feel was the best lounge of the year, and I give them an award. I give them a nice plaque like I give to the cigar guys that win. And they could put it on their wall in their shop. And it helps me because my name's on the plaque, right? Stogie Press, but it helps them. It gives them a little press. So
Alex,
Very cool place
where-
last year was
where's our
Bongo
plaque, Alex? Where do we hang out our plaque?
Right?
Alex is thinking about. He was thinking about it for a second. He's like, "What plaque?"
But no, you know, that's cool because, you know, outside of that, the only other place to maybe get some feedback on a lounge is like Yelp or a Google review, and they may not necessarily be reviews coming from someone in the cigar culture, may not understand cigar culture. So, you know, to get
they
someone
don't
giving a
capture
review,
everything that you know.
Right.
I look at it. I have a kind of a rating system separately for that, where I look at things like what's in the humidor, how clean is the lounge, how is it exclusive or inclusive, are the bathrooms clean, things like that. Is the smoke air clean? Can I sit down at a bar or a table by myself and meet somebody and they're willing to have a conversation, or are they just like standoffish? Do you walk into a humidor if you don't even announce who? Sometimes I'll walk in, don't tell anybody who I am. I just walk in, and I'll see if the tobacconist or the manager or whoever's running the shop comes over and walks in and asks me if they can help. Right? Sometimes you don't get any of that. Right?
Yeah, you know, that's interesting. You know, Abe and I had an experience, and I won't name names, but we were walking around a humidor for almost a good half hour. And nobody came up to us, even like to try and sense if we were stealing at that point. Like, if somebody's walking around that long, I'm like, what the hell are they doing? I want to go, you know. So no, that's important. That's a big important thing. I think it's somebody.
Have you ever gone to a shop you heard a lot about and was like disappointed?
Yes, I was. I won't mention names right now, but yeah, there was a shop. There was a shop I went into that was.
You heard a lot about. You thought it was
big deal. I made it my purpose when I was in the area to go to that shop. I walked in and I just felt like nobody paid attention to, and I didn't tell them who I was. I just sat there like any other person, and I just felt like, it was very little clicky. And then even the bar, like I said, I remember I had a Guinness, right? If you're serving Guinness, you need to know how people drink Guinness, right? When it gets down to like this far, you immediately have to come over to them and say, would you like another one? Because it's going to take you 3 to 5 minutes to pour the damn Guinness, right?
Right.
No attention. 3-4 barmaids behind the bar, all chit-chatting on the side, not paying. And there wasn't a crowded bar, right? And not even get eye contact, to even go like this, right? For like 20 minutes. And then my Guinness was empty and I still didn't get anything. And then finally they come over and I was like, yeah, I need another Guinness, please. And I was like, come on, people. Just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jimmie, go ahead, Dave.
Happened to me too. No, I was just going to say it happened to me too.
Yeah.
When I travel, I hear about a place, I go and I'm like, wow, what is everybody talking about?
Right.
Yeah, it happens to me too.
Yeah, but what Jimmie does with the lounge reviews also is kind of an extension of what I was just talking about. He captures the vibe of the lounge really well. So it's, hey, this is a place where, I'm going to be able to relax and really enjoy a great cigar. Or, hey, this is a place where it's going to be a little more of a party element to it, or a festive element. And again, those are things sometimes you don't get off the Yelp reviews. So I think you do. That's, I think, where it's really valuable to, if you're a cigar enthusiast and you are looking for places, that those reviews are great you're doing.
When I retire, there'll be more of those.
Yeah, it's tough. It takes a long time to write those. I can tell you. I know that.
Right, and I even travel to get around.
Photos, yeah.
Retirement's going to take me in a car, in an SUV with my wife and my dog, and we're just going to travel across the country and chase sunsets for a couple of months and take great photos and always have a cigar-related thing to it. But there'll always be a lounge somewhere in that vicinity that I'm going to. We'll be talking about it.
Nice.
So that's like my first year of retirement game plan, and that's about 1.5 years, 2 years away. So get ready for that.
Vince, no truer statement can be said, man. It's such a burden. It really
It's worse. It's worse. You can't even find bed help these days.
That's well said.
I mean, honestly.
Well said. Really,
Wow.
it's really mind blowing. I don't know what is going on in this universe where we put ads out, or we put I'm going to tell you what first started here, because when we would look for somebody, we'd put an ad out. We had a couple outlets we used. I'm not kidding you. We would get 80 to 100 emails My assistant would scope through the best ones, and then she would schedule me 20, 30 interviews in a week. Just pound through them, pick a couple of good candidates, and go from there. Man, what happened was during the beginning of the Trump administration. Now, I'm not telling you which way or whether it was politically good or bad or making any endorsement of Trump. All I'm going to talk about is some actual facts. It was the first time in my career of putting advertisements out and nobody applying for jobs. And I attributed it after a couple of years of this going on, this phenomenon, like what the hell's going on? The employment level, because you listen to the news, employment levels here, employment levels here, employment there. I never really pay it no mind, right? Because half the time they lie. So who cares what they're saying in the employment? But I'm telling you, that was the first time in my life where I said, wow, the employment level must be at a really all-time low because no one's looking for a job. And then the pandemic came, and that just changed everybody's psychology and mentality. And I don't know where there's going to be a workforce here. I mean, people want to argue that, AI is going to take over the world. Well, it's going to, because nobody wants to work.
Yep.
Nobody wants to work. AI comes in on time, clocks out on time, and does a great job. No bitching, no complaining, no drama.
Get ready for the robots, brother.
Well, Abe, I think it's interesting.
I'm all in.
People don't want to go into an office anymore. They don't want to leave their house to go to work anymore.
Yes.
That's another thing. I'm seeing this with outside of cigars. What I do,
I get news for you.
I've worked from my house for 25 years. I've worked from home. So there are industries, and
some industries are better.
That Coop and I are in the IT world.
It's not industries. It's people. There's a certain type of person that can work from home, and there's a certain type of person that can't. And I think that it's a hard transition for people who are used to working in an office. People that work from home, IT guys, tech, and anybody that has been working from home knows how to work from home. For someone to go from the office to home and make that transition and still be as productive, it's very hard.
Because you don't have the water cooler moment. That's the first thing that happens, because you get up out of your desk, your cubicle, you walk over, you talk to your buddy next to you, you go to the water cooler area, the coffee clutch, and you talk about the football game on Sunday night that happened. You don't get that when you're working from home. And I had all these people that were in the office during the pandemic that started to work from home, and then they would call me just to have that chat about things. And I was like, how come you guys didn't call me like for 20 years, like having this thing? All of a sudden now you realize what I'm doing.
Right.
So
I don't know what he's talking about here.
Have you guys seen that creepy AI? I have not, but I am all in the AI world. So I'll be looking for that. So Jim, you're taking on something big, man. You got tell us what you got going on.
Literally something big.
Let me go through this. I'll give you the background story so you get full appreciation. So many years ago, over a decade ago, I took an assignment. I was living in Japan for a year, and I remember my son's birthday. That time he was in undergrad, and I flew him over. I said, "Come on over for a week. Let's hang out in Japan." And we had a good time. One of the things we did is we went down to the Mount Fuji area, and we had this beautiful place we were staying at, and we kind of walked. We went up a little bit of the mountain. We didn't have time to climb the whole thing. It wasn't a plan to do that. But I looked at him. I said, "Look, when you get your doctorate," because that was his game plan. I said, "When you get your doctorate, we're going to come back here and climb this mountain and celebrate." Now, my son ended up going to Vanderbilt University for his doctoral program. He spent 6 years there. I think he's written 6 papers, and he did his studies in neurobiological research on the autism spectrum. And he made some interesting discoveries. He's written papers on this. And he had his doctorate, and it was right near the end of the pandemic. And he was at my house for like Thanksgiving. And he looked at me and he says, "I guess we're not going to Fuji." And I said, "Why? The pandemic will be over. They're going to open the doors eventually. When they do, we're going to go." And he said, "Look at you, Dad. You're a fat bastard. There's no way you're climbing a 13,000-foot mountain. You're out of shape. You're never going to get there." And I said, "Did I ever break a promise to you, ever?" And he goes, "No." I said, "Well, I'm going to do this." He says, "I'll see." So I went on this amazing weight loss and exercise. I got back into Taekwondo 3-4 days a week for my exercise and my stamina. And I lost 70 pounds in a year. So I went from 260 I'm down to 189 right now. And he says, okay, you obviously are ready to climb a mountain, right? And I said, okay. But I said, I want to do one thing better. I said, since you did all of this on the autism spectrum, why don't we try to raise some money for autism at the same time? And the cigar community will be a great place to do it, because I know the cigar community is very generous, okay, with their dollars, with good causes, right? We have our great causes like Cigars for Warriors. We've got the Fuente charity. We have a number of things we go to, but everybody is 1 degree separated from somebody who's on the spectrum. Everybody that's watching this, you'll know somebody who's autistic. Everybody does. Whether it's a son, a daughter, a cousin, a friend's friend, So we're connected to this. And the spectrum is wide, right? I mean, I just met a guy the other day who's got some, he's got an accessory that he was talking to me about. And in the middle of the conversation, when we were talking about this, he said he's autistic. And you would never know he's autistic because he's a very functionally autistic person, right? But then you have ones that aren't, right? And the spectrum's wide. So I said, okay, we're going to go do this. So I set up a campaign on Autism Speaks. So on Autism Speaks, they have an area where I can see. You can set up a campaign. All the donations go directly to that. I don't touch any of the money. You just click the donation and it goes right to Autism Speaks.
You got a link for that, Alex?
Yeah, if you pull up, can you share? Can you share something on here?
Yeah.
Open up Stogie Press, and I'll just show people where to go. The easy way to do this. So there's a menu at the top of the Stogie Press main page called Climb for Autism, and what you do there is so that little button up top. So before you go there, just show right there. It'll take you to there.
If we're here, you
go right there, and then that'll just give you the background that I just kind of talked about. So if you scroll down a little, you'll see my son in here. That's my son. And if you
he's good looking, Jim.
Oh, let me tell you what, this man is amazing.
Are you sure he's yours?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah,
very handsome
man.
man. Very handsome man.
Yep.
I tried to get him on today, but he's in Nashville, so getting up early was after Friday. I'm sure it was hard. So you can scan that. So hold that right there. Anybody that's watching right now, if you want to participate in this, I would say scan that. And what you do when you scan it, okay, if you donate $10 or more, all right, put a dash next to it and say "Smoke In" next to your name. I have a dashboard that shows all the donations that come in. And what happens is whoever group, brand, whatever, raises the most money is going to get a photo op at the top of Mount Fuji when the sun rises over Japan with their stuff. And the whole thing's going to be documented in video and an article at the end will publish it. So this is a big thing. So I'm trying to reach out and say, hey, get out there and support. Right? So
Alex,
that's where you go.
The 47-minute mark. We got to clip that out. Play it.
Yeah, we'll clip that out.
Yeah, the 47-minute mark. Mark it down. We always forget.
I just put the direct link in the chat as well.
Nice.
Good. Perfect.
Yep.
So that's what we're going to do. And, okay, you can take that off now. And
the producer, Jimmie, Boston Jimmie.
this is what I do on my own show, right?
Better than Paul.
So I've got, and I have I got my 2 Buddhas that I have in my office all the time that give me hope and that I'm going to do this. Now there are people out there. I already heard it through the grapevine that I already heard from somebody tell me that there's an over/under on me that I'm not climbing this mountain. All right.
So you're not going to do it at all. You're not going to make it.
And I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it to the top. So I just let everybody know. Climbing Mount Fuji is not like climbing Mount Everest. There are trails. I'm going with a tour group. It's a small tour group, but we're going with a tour group. And you do it in 2 days. You basically climb up to what's called level 8. So there's a base camp there. You start in the morning. You get there like in the early evening. And then you get some, you get food, and there's huts where they have sleep huts that you go into, which are, I'll be taking pictures of that because that's like just a bunch of people bundled together. You got new friends, but you go to sleep early and you wake up about 1:30 in the morning, and you climb to the summit, which takes about another 3 hours, and then that's the steepest part of the climb, right? And I think the worst elevation, angle is about 45 degrees. So there's a little steep getting up there, but then you get to the top. Now, the top of Mount Fuji, when you climb it, it's a 13,000-foot mountain, so there is definitely an oxygen issue. Okay, but my stamina is way up. It's a big thing. I've been working, so I don't have a problem with my working out, like doing sparring and everything I do with Taekwondo. And I run with the dog every night. So I feel comfortable with that. But when it comes to the oxygen level, you bring like portable little oxygen cans you bring. So you might have to take a hit. Now, my son's girlfriend, she's a physician. So I have a physician going with me too, just in case, right? We actually have a doctor with us, a real doctor. And the idea is there is also inclement weather that happens there because you're up in that high altitude. They can get suddenly rain, sleet, snow slapping at you, wind, okay? Heavy winds can come through. So, yeah, it can get a little squirrely when you get up high. But people do this. There are thousands of people a year climb this mountain, okay? Do it all the time. So I am not worried about getting to the top of the mountain.
How much physically, I mean, I'm sure you know, but like the first day, how much are you hiking? How long is the hike?
The hike, I think the first part, you start at 5,000 feet, okay? So that's where the starting point is. I think that's level 5. You go to level 8, and I think level 8 is about 12, maybe 12,000 or a little less than 12,000 feet. So you're doing maybe a little more than a mile and a half, as far as height goes. But it's going to take you about 8 hours, I think, of hiking. Okay.
It's going to take you 8 hours to walk a mile and a half.
Because you're going up and you're doing switchbacks constantly.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're doing switchbacks on the trail, right? As you're going up, right?
Wow. Do you know what the walking distance is? Like what that equates to? Like
how many steps?
Yeah, like I mean, how if you took the path and
how many miles?
Are you walking 20 miles?
I don't know yet. That's a good question.
Really? You didn't even look at that yet?
I don't care.
That'd be like the first thing I'd ask, man. How long is this walk? Like for real?
I've done 30-mile hikes with the scouts a few years ago in flatland, but 30-mile hikes I've done. I've done hikes with my son in Tennessee, going up along the mountain ridges. Yeah. So I'm not worried about.
I learned that lesson going to Egypt, man. You got to ask the right questions, man. We got to Egypt and like, hey, would you like to go and see the sarcophagus? I'm like, yeah, why the hell not? I'm figuring I'm going to walk in. There's going to be a gift shop, the concession stand maybe in there. I don't know. It's a 3-foot square mine shaft. 2 miles straight upward from my thing. People going up and down. I mean, I literally, the first words I came out when I got it, why the fuck didn't you tell me what the fuck that was?
Yeah.
I would have never went in there.
So you can, the thing is also all along the trail, they've got, there are bathrooms, there are porta potty things, whatever. And you got to put, you got to pay to use them. You got to bring a lot of.
Are you kidding me? They got to charge you to use a porta potty?
Yeah, they do because they got to clean it all the time. So
yeah, I guess so.
And they got little huts along the way to buy snacks if you need it. You buy, drinks, water, but you'll bring a lot of that with yourself anyway. And you got to bring a chain. You got to bring different layers of clothing because you're going to start. It's June, it's July in Japan. It's hot. Right. So when you're starting, it's going to be warm, and then it's going to be below freezing. All right.
Have you calculated how heavy the bag is you got to carry this whole way up?
They recommend keep it below 15 pounds.
15?
Yeah, about 15 pounds is the lowest. They say don't go much more than that. You basically want to have maybe a good gallon of water with you. Okay. You want to hydrate, the 2 days before. we're not going to do a lot of drinking because you don't want to dehydrate your body. So you want to hydrate your body for 2 days. Constantly drink a lot of water so that body's hydrated. Because as you get higher in elevation, that elevation, your water evaporates very quickly. So that's the biggest problem. If you're not prepared, if you don't do that, that's when you get the altitude sickness kicks in because your body's dehydrating. So you want to make sure you're drinking a lot of water all the time. You know, that's why you need to use the bathrooms. And a guy like me, the biggest problem I'm going to have is I'm the old guy that has a going problem. So I might have to wear a pair of Depends or something.
Wow.
How many pair of socks you bring in?
You bring basically 2 pairs of socks.
One for the switch.
Once you get up to the hut at the level 8, you switch out and then you change for the next thing. For the next.
Don't you need another 2 pairs coming down?
No. The coming down thing is about 5 hours to hike down the mountain.
The whole way down, top to bottom.
Way down.
Yeah, it's a little easier going down than it is going up.
Hey, I got news for you, man.
Well, it's actually more treacherous, they say, because there's a lot of shale on the path down, and people slip and slide all the time. Right. So you got to have good hiking boots. I'm going to have a good pair of hiking boots. I have. So I got all the stuff. I read all the tips on it. I've got enough of that knowledge that this is what you've got to prepare to do. So, but yeah, we're gonna have a blast doing this. And I just right now I can tell you I had set a goal on this.
That's what I was just gonna ask.
$5,000. All right. Now we've reached right now 2670, and what we're doing, just so you know, about every $1,000, I've been reaching out to different cigar manufacturers and stuff, and we're giving away swag and cigars and things as we hit certain levels. So everybody that's donated is going to be on a wheel, and when we hit the next level, we're going to give some more stuff away, and then some more stuff away, and some more stuff, and the surprises are going to get bigger and bigger. Obviously, I'm trying to work with people like Drew Estate to get an stand-up ashtray for the higher levels. But that 5,000, I feel, is a tiny number from this industry. This industry right here can do amazing things. If every consumer let's just say they forgoed one cigar one night and dropped $10 on that, we could raise over $100,000 by July easily. And what I would love to be able to write an article about and give to the PCA is look how much money we raise as a cigar community for autism. Right. And use that as part of your outreach and say, here you go. Boom. Something really amazing.
Well, yeah.
Hey, Evan, make sure you put smoke in next to that.
Here's your link, Evan. I'm going to post it again.
Jimmie, the second day you're not scaling the mountain. It's still a hike?
Yeah, you still.
So it's not like you have to hook.
No, there's no hooks and ropes and none of that.
Goob's got him like Stallone swinging up the side of the mountain.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, I have people asking me that. You got to bring your hooks and your this and that. No.
Okay.
You have a walking stick, and the cool thing is you go up with you get this walking stick, and every level they heat stamp it. Okay. With a stamp for that particular level, and that's like your collector's item at the end that you use all the way up. So,
just curious, looking forward to it. What's the charge? Ooh,
salud.
Thank you. Saw that coming. What's the fee or cost?
I think the tour. So the tour cost, I think, was $300 or something like that, maybe $400. They pick us up. So we're going to be staying in Tokyo. So they pick us up in Tokyo. They drive us to Fuji, and then they walk up with us and back, and then they take us back. So I think it was about $400 per person for the tour. Now you can do this. There is no fee. If you want to do this alone, you just show up at Fuji. You could just climb it, and people do it in one day. All right, but I'm not going to put my hands in my own method. I'll let somebody who is experienced get us up the mountain.
Ooh, just had a sneeze attack.
So
yeah, I might have paid the fee twice so I could have 2 groups so they could maybe carry me half the way.
Yeah, that's it, right?
The mountain, that's where I'd probably be most comfortable. A little chair, a couple bars on each side. I could sit there and go up the mountain. God
Jimmie,
bless.
yeah. Are you going to fire up at the top of this mountain? Is there a cigar you're thinking of?
I don't know if you're allowed to smoke in a mountain. It is a national treasure.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. Yeah.
So I don't think I can actually fire it up, but if there is a brand that raised the most or something, I will definitely have a cigar in that photo op. And at the end, no matter what, at the end there will be a cigar featured at the top of the mountain, whatever I do.
Right.
Because there's going to be a meme I'm going to create afterwards that says, "This is Boston Jimmie. He's 64 years old. He lost 70 pounds. He climbed a 13,000-foot mountain. He smokes 3 to 4 cigars a day. Any questions?"
I like it.
I like
Right?
it.
I mean, come on, give me a break. You know, the cigars aren't the problem. Okay.
Well, everybody, the link's in the comments in multiple places. Please check it out. It's a great cause. And they have until when? When's the official climb date?
So the official climb date is on July 14th, I believe. Let me double look at the calendar. So we get there on the 9th, and we're climbing on the 13th. So Thursday the 13th and the 14th. So you'll
be taking donations through.
And we'll take donations all the way through that, but I'm not going to be tracking much after that. Once I leave, we leave on the 8th. We get there on the 9th. All right. And then we're going to be doing some excursions the first 3 days to find. There are all kinds of interesting shorter climbs. Go up to these shrines and stuff, which have some hefty elevations. So we'll be practicing going up and down. You know, getting legs going, because I'm going from sea level. Right. I'm going from my son's in Tennessee. It's not so bad. Right. I'm going from sea level to altitude, and that's going to be the toughest part.
That's going to be a tough one. Listen, I don't know if you got to run, but if you don't, stick around. Jimmie will hang out a little bit in hour number 2. We got very cool and fun stuff ahead of you, as always, on KMA Talk Radio. Hour 2 ahead. We'll be right back. Keep it lit.
Explore the unexplored with St. Louis Rey Carenas. Set sail to discover an extraordinary Honduran cigar deeply anchored in tradition. The St. Louis Rey Carenas features a Nicaraguan wrapper cloaked over 100% Honduran tobacco that make up the binder and filler. The St. Louis Rey Carenas, in the Toro size, received a 93 rating in Cigar Aficionado and was featured in their illustrious Top 25 Cigars of 2021 list. The St. Louis Rey Carenas is available in 4 different sizes: a Robusto, Toro, Bellicoso, and Magnum. So get ready to take a trip back in time to experience the heritage of St. Louis Rey with the St. Louis Rey Carenas.
Surgeon General warning: cigar smoking can cause cancers of the mouth and throat, even if you do not inhale.
Fans, I am here behind home plate by the big comfy couch, the best seat in the house. Fans, I am here on top of the first base dugout where it is time for the Babylon Carrot Count Sing for Your Supper contest. Fans, down here on the field, it is time for the Keep Iceland Clean team, brought to you by our friends over at Keep Iceland Clean. Let's hear for the members of the Long Island Ducks ground crew, everybody.
The time for whining and moaning is over. It's time to put Americans back to work. Now there's one show, one team that's taking a higher path, lifting Americans up, giving them hope and putting them back to work, one job at a time.
Get your own butt in here!
Welcome to Check This, our weekly review of everything everywhere. First up, football. Or rather, the aftermath of football when your favorite team misses the game-winning fumble. This little dude's not happy.
It keeps track of all your data. It doesn't really matter. No need to shake your fists.
Now, we need your help, Duck fans. Yes, all of you. We need you to help us sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Can you do it? At the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
And we're back. Hour number 2 of KMA Talk Radio. Welcome back, everybody. We're broadcasting from sunny South Florida, along with the gang, as always, the GOAT and William Cooper. Special guest today, hanging out with us, is Boston Jimmie. If you didn't catch the first hour, please check out the comments. He is doing a climb for autism, raising money for a wonderful cause. Please check it out. And if you do make a donation, add smoke in the comments there, and let them know where you came from.
Jim, I don't know if you saw
9
this.
miles.
9 miles is like. But Jim, if you didn't see this, Evan Darnell, the Red
I just
Meat
saw it,
Club,
$1,000.
donated $1,000.
Yeah, he thanked
Evan.
him.
So you just put smoke in at the top of the heap right now. So the competition is on.
There you go.
We haven't even posted.
Good job, Evan. Good job,
we haven't even
Evan.
posted the social yet.
Yeah, good job, Evan.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Evan always making a difference. United in causes, that man. United in causes. Now, did I miss it, or did you not play the phenomenal excerpt?
Well, that's 2 weeks we haven't played it.
He's on timeout.
He's on time.
Although he's, you know what? I gotta get him back in because he did make a pop-up appearance at West Palm.
He did make a pop-up appearance.
Yeah, he did. He did.
That's he's on timeout from his Smoke Night Live debacle.
Is that what it is?
No, but that's right. I forgot. He did appear. He did come and he made an appearance in West Palm.
He's
So he's
on
back.
timeout. And listen, this is that excerpt's the only way we can get Paul and KMA Talk Radio. So there's
There
your
was more content with Paul we've had than in the last
Right, then we've had in
like,
months.
3 months. Yeah.
Literally. So if anybody's having any Paul withdrawal,
Yeah.
there's your little dose of Paul for the day. I really want to know, where did you find that?
He posted it, didn't he?
No. So what was I looking for? I was looking for a photo of him for the Flyin Hawaiian thing.
Oh,
And I came across that.
what is that? His own
His own YouTube page. So I don't know what maybe they call that a thing in the acting world. I guess that's
Yeah.
I assume that would be his thing that he would submit.
It's
to,
a reel. I think they call it a reel, and it's again when a lot of people are in media, like they make their resume kind of like that.
I really want to know what company he was doing the injured lawyer routine with. It's time to get people back to work. Right? I really want to know what we got to ask him. What company he was pimping on that ad?
Right.
That is
Right.
funny. Holy cow! So Jimmie, how is your musical acumen? Are you well versed in the world of music?
Depends.
Well, we're gonna.
My brain forgets a few things over life, but
You're pretty good. From what I've seen on social media, you know your music.
I'm starting to get that way myself. Like, you know what's funny? This is how bad it is, and this never ever happened to me because anybody who knows me knows I'm a TV show movie buff guy, right? I know how to. I've always been enthralled in good shows and stuff like that. So last night, my wife literally dropped me in a hole. So we're in bed getting ready to go to bed, and she starts laughing. I'm like, what are you laughing at? And she's on some Instagram thing that's showing people how they've aged from their youngest days to today. And it's like a morph thing. And oh my God, some people have just become horrendous, like unbelievable. And one of the ones that came up was, and what they did was they would play the contributing music to the background. So we were from a TV show. While it was morphing, they played that TV show theme. So I'm going to date probably 80% of our listenership right now. So we're looking at a girl last night, and I recognized her, but I recognized the theme song. I even told my wife, this is a show I used to watch as a kid. Like I remember liking it. I remember our family watching it because Nell Carter, who died at the age of 54, sang the theme song, and she was a star in the show. And I recognized the name of the show from the song. And I said, but I can't remember the show. Like, I knew Nell Carter. I knew the theme song. I was singing it as she's singing it, but I couldn't envision the show. Like, what was the show about? I don't even remember like any scenes from the show, and like had a complete blackout moment. And then I'm going to try to find like an old show I could find. And then I see this thing where they show everybody on Joey Lawrence was on this show. I think it was a start. And I'm watching the then and now of all the people that started the show. Oh, I remember that character. And I still couldn't piece together what the show was. I had to find an old episode that finally clicked. But like, talk about a blackout moment. I knew the theme song. I knew the cast. I knew the show called Give Me a Break, but I couldn't piece together the show at all.
Hey, the song's called "Give Me a Break," though. I mean, the song is named.
That's what I said. I knew what. Listen to me. It was a morph of the oldest sister of the show, so I knew the name of the show because of the theme song. So I recognized Nell Carter's voice. I knew what show it was. I knew the name of the show, the characters, and everything. But it's like I couldn't remember what the show was about. I couldn't envision a scene of the show. I didn't know. And then eventually I caught a piece, and I remembered it was about a cop whose wife died. Nell was the friend who moved in to help them live and raise the kids. And I remembered it all later. But man, I mean, that's like total sign of getting old. Like it's just like a complete mental block. I mean, I'm really starting to experience that stuff more and more in my age.
It sucks. It sucks.
It does.
It does.
Well,
just don't forget to go to the bathroom. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I just did.
It's time for Name That Jam, presented by the fine folks at Avo Cigars. Really simple, Jimmie. Our man, the GOAT here, has a 3-second snippet of some song, and we're all going to take turns trying to figure out if we can recognize what it is. Very simple. All yours, Alex.
Hit it.
Man, Coop put his hands up like
Layup.
Right away.
Layup.
Right away.
Millisecond of that song.
Layup.
I don't have a clue.
Yeah, I don't have.
I got it. Layup.
Let's hear it one more time.
I'll give it to you one more time.
No, not a clue.
Now, Coop, even though you got this right away, and let me see. I think that while a lot of people have it in the chat, I don't know how many of those same people would also be able to name the band.
I could name the band too.
Well, I figured you could, but
now I don't know, but Derek Moon, now he said New Kids on the Block. I think I know the song now, so I don't know. Is that wrong?
Way off.
Way off.
Moving on. Okay, well, it sounded like that. So, yeah. Derek, I'm with you. That sounded familiar after you mentioned that. All right, Jimmie's clueless. Coop, what do you say it is?
Rocksteady by the Whispers.
Oh, fuck, where are you getting these songs from?
So this. This came out like in '85. It brought back a little of that Philly sound, which is so. I remember when this song came out, it was great because it was like a throwback to the Philly sound in the '70s.
The Whispers.
I can't say I didn't know. I don't know the song. I know the song.
But it's not something I would have listened to because it was out of my genre.
That's something I heard going to the disco roller rink on a Friday night.
Very much. That
might have been the last time I ever heard that song. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
This segment brought to you by Alpha Cigars.
I always get killed if it ain't classic rock. My God.
No, it was respectable. It was
You're doing
respectable.
good. That was a good pick. That was a good pick.
You know,
This is right up. These are.
That was right up my alley. That song was
They're up
what?
Coop's alley.
Yeah, that was right up my alley. That song.
when we're playing video, I could see the background, and Coop like literally raised his hands like in the
Yes,
first
immediately.
Immediately, I'm like, dude.
I played that record so many times. I love that record.
So
yeah.
were you like a disco guy, Coop? Out there?
I grew up in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn,
I get it.
when Saturday Night Fever was filmed. Yeah, so I mean, disco was a part of that fiber of that neighborhood growing up. Yeah.
When I went to college in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
I had a lot of friends that were disco boys, but I was a long-haired hippie freak dude from Long Island that was into rock and roll. So I went to the discos.
It's not that I love rock too. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, disco was very much a fiber of the neighborhood growing up. Yeah.
I follow Twisted Sisters. Disco sucks.
That's funny, Dan LeBeau. That's probably one of the truest statements. That's probably the only other place I probably heard a lot is going to my friends' bar mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs. It was a DJ song.
Yep.
It was a DJ song. It was a layup DJ
Very
song.
much a DJ. Yeah, very much. Roller rink song, like you hit that on the head. It was always played at those types of things.
Tell us how you really feel, Jeff.
My boy.
Jeff, don't say
cool.
much.
Disco is cool. No, disco's cool. Disco's cool.
I like disco.
Yeah.
I think I appreciated disco more as I got older than I did at the time it came out.
Yes.
You did a theme on disco a few years ago at the Great.
I'm telling you, I appreciated more in the elder years than I did growing up during the era.
Right. I don't disagree with that.
That's funny. Wow.
Is Garrett Robinson watching yet?
Why is there some big?
I get chess update.
Yeah, there must be a big chess tournament update that he wants to discuss.
I mean, I know that none of you care, but like this game that started at 5 a.m. is still going on right now.
Well, you're dedicated. You got up at 5 a.m. to watch a chess game.
I got up at 6.
Okay. You would have got up. Yeah.
How long do they have between each move?
So the game starts with you have 2 hours. They each have 2 hours to make the first 40 moves. And then once they get to that 40
All right,
moves,
so to put that in perspective, how many moves? Now, that's 40 moves each or 40 moves combined?
40 moves each, and they both have, well, a move is 1 and 1, but so they each have a 2 hour clock running. So technically that's 4 hours right there.
Okay. So, they each have a clock running to make their own 40 moves. So okay. So, how many moves are in a typical chess match?
I mean, it depends. It depends.
Average. Is a
50,
chess match an
60,
80 move
30.
match?
It could be. I mean, I'll put it to you this way. So let me break it down. So right now, so they have 2 hours to get to get 40 moves. Once they hit the 40 move mark, they each get an additional hour, right? And then what happens is once they get to the 60 move mark from that additional, they get another 20 minutes. So currently, this game is on move 71. Yeah, I mean, they're going to go 7 hours deep for this game, and it'll probably end in a draw, and they'll have to come back tomorrow and play tiebreakers. But this could be the decisive game to make the, this will be the first new world chess champion in a decade.
And I tell you what, Jay Davis, if you take the bacon out of that equation, I still may not wake up at 5 a.m.
We all have our things.
Lots of 4 on the floor in worship we play at church. Oh, okay. All right. What else we got going on? News? Do we have news? We go into news?
Yeah. We got. Well, you want to take it right into the news?
What else we got?
Well, I mean, I guess we can talk all to this in the news. Sure. Let's do it.
Yeah, because might as well, because that was something we were going to talk about. Might as well bring it in. Let's just jump into the scoop with Coop.
Hey, yo, what's my theme music?
The Scoop with Coop. Breaking industry news. Hear it first on KMA Talk Radio and cigar-coop.com.
He's got a lot of talking to do, Coop. So this may be the longest episode of the Scoop with Cooper ever.
We had a lot this week. So we want to start with the alternate stuff?
Start whatever you want, Patty. It's your segment.
We'll start since we kind of let in with it. So it wasn't. I did not report this on Cigar Coop yet, but it did start to come up. The Half Wheel guys reported on Thursday that Altadis was coming back to the trade show. They basically, the report was they saw it on the floor map. There hasn't been a confirmation from Altidus as of yet. I had an inkling that this was going on, but Rafael Nadal is out of the country right now, so it wasn't.
Marrakesh on his anniversary. Happy
Yeah.
anniversary, Rafael Nadal.
Yeah, so I'm be honest, I'm not going to call the guy in Morocco. He probably would take my call too, but it's so. But I haven't spoken to Rafael about this, but I will tell you, the intel I have is this is accurate information. They will be back at the trade show. So it's happening.
So would this constitute as being the official return of the first four that dropped, the big four that dropped out?
Well, again, it's I think most people are counting it as the second, but so it depends how you want to look at it.
I don't count General as back yet.
Well, if you look at it that way, then I guess this would make the first return, right?
I mean, I really don't. There's not a General booth. Until you
But
have a
but is
General
it
booth-
but now they're STG with General. I mean, so they're only bringing Fords in there. It depends how you want to look at it. I think if Saka's guess was that 2 came back, I'll give it to Saka that he got it right in this case. Last year was a little different. They kind of came in with the Trojan horse. This year they said, hey, look, we have the Alec Bradley space. We're just going to go there and we're going to exhibit Fords. So, I mean, it depends how you want to look at it, Abe. I mean, if you wanted to, I technically said they came back last year with the Trojan horse.
Well, it's funny because I'm curious. And this will be really interesting to see how you answer this. Let's fast forward 2 years. STG is full force back at the Great Smoke, sponsorships, everything. Do you see them having 1 or 2 booths?
I think they'll have like adjoining booths, but they have separate sales teams. So because there's separate sales teams, I think there'll be separate areas, and I don't think they'll intermix those.
Well, then under that question, I would then say General's not at the trade show.
General's not at the trade show. Right, General's at the trade show. STG is with part of their portfolio.
And Forged didn't exist prior to the split.
No, and I think that's why they did it too. I think it was the first time to put Fords
So
out
you
there.
can't say Forged coming in is returning. They weren't there to begin with.
Yeah.
So.
The one thing where I'll say where you have a point, Abe, is look, there's plenty of booth space. If STG wanted to bring General back, they could have got the booth space to do it. So I think they're kind of testing the waters with this, is what it seems like.
I think it's a little like
yeah.
A little mini carrot. Here you go. Let's see.
Yeah.
Jim, feel free to jump in here, Jim.
I
feel like Jimmie almost has the Abe. Who cares?
No. I would say that when it comes to General, and they're going to ease their way back into this. I really do. And do they really? They have such a large sales force. I mean, I was just at a local shop here, and they had the local rep in there just featuring one brand, and that's what they do, and they're pushing it. So they're out there working the ground level. And does a PCA or even a TP really move their needle that much? I mean, because they're putting out all these press releases, they're out there constantly working the shops and working the ground and going on the road. Is it something that they really want to drop a bunch of money on? Is it, so maybe ease in and see if it's still working for them.
Well, just cut back on all the Chinese boxes and gas can tanks and everything, and they'd have more than enough money.
That's fair. I have side question, unrelated, but who gets around more, Rafael or Jose Blanco?
Rafael.
Because these guys are everywhere, and I mean they've had to span every country in the world.
That dude's living his best life, man.
Yeah.
Best life.
Jose Blanco being now back in the States is gonna be doing.
It's gonna increase, yeah.
He's gonna be out there more.
Well, Jose was supposed to be going, like, Jose's territory before this change was actually Asia. He didn't really go to Asia because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
He was focusing a lot on Europe, and in particular Eastern Europe, which was kind of in his backyard. But Carlito travels a lot. He just doesn't post everywhere where he is. Carlito does an enormous amount of travel. I can tell you that. I don't think people realize that.
So,
Fair.
what I do find interesting in all this news is, and I see what maybe Jimmie and Coop think about this. Obviously, Altus news. Little toe dipping going on from STG. I've heard a little bit of squeaks here and there about Drew Estate. Man, Davidoff is like in the fringe.
Well, yes and no.
I haven't heard a peep who, no one from Davidoff is even saying, yeah, we're contemplating, we'd like nothing.
Well, yes, but Ferriotego's there, and I can tell you that Davidoff sends a sales
So once
support.
again, I get that, but once again, how do you count Davidoff as anything to do with Ferriotego? I mean, the forged argument, you almost have more merit.
Agree. I'm not disagreeing. Yeah.
But there's nothing, Ferriotego has nothing to do with Davidoff other than Davidoff is delivering their orders.
Again, it's how you want to slice it. I'll give you both ways. You're right. It's the same. I heard the same argument about Hoya. I'm hearing the same. Hoya's coming back to the show this year. Drew Estate is not. I've heard the same thing. Well, Drew Estate's going to have support in the whole. Yeah, probably. But I'm not disagreeing with you on that. But yeah, I'm just saying it depends how you want to look at it. If they display product, it's a different story.
I mean, no one cares about the displaying of the product. Hiding a few SKUs does not, listen to me. All right, let me break this down to economics.
Right.
All right. The presence of support of a company is not the displaying of a product. Okay, that's what they got you guys like you for, to post the pictures up and tell everybody, you, Coop and Jimmie, you guys probably get more information out to retailers and people that go to the show. So it's about supporting the function, what the ability they could do. They need to take the booth space. Then these are the companies that provide typically decent sponsorship monies to help enhance the experience of the. If you don't come in that manner as one of the big four, you're not there. Now, I don't know if Jay Davis is watching, but I think Jay would agree with me on that one. I mean, you're not there. There's an economics that those four dropping out created a financial void and a presence void.
Yes.
And obviously, on some level, some kind of I don't think legitimacy is the right word, but I mean, it definitely just created a void. And sneaking your products in under a subdivision of one or two lines or whatever that doesn't fill the void that was gone by them going.
No, and they're not getting the ginormous booth space and putting, like you said, all the money into it. Because let's be real, PCA, that money going in is going to fight the cause, right?
Well, listen to me. It's going to fight the cause. It's also hopefully used to enhance the experience for retailers who are going there, fun events, to make it more memorable. More retailers want to come. So there you go. So, I mean, if you ain't filling the void that you created by leaving, then you're not back as far as I'm concerned. You're not. If these guys took half the booth spaces they had before they left, it would be a big plus for the show, financially, presence wise, supportive wise. So I mean, you can't tell me that Ferriotego that Davidoff is sending any kind of message or any kind of response by Michael having a presence.
No, but they at the same time, it's like I look at, are they all in, all out too? Like they could say, well, we're not supporting that, but I think that was part of the deal they made with Michael when he came on board.
What was part of the deal?
I think part of the deal is that Michael said, look, we're going to still exhibit at the trade show. I think that was, I'm positive Michael said that when he made the deal with that.
Okay, so I mean, so listen to me. I mean, I'm just talking out of my ass, and we can have Michael on. I don't think that would even be up for a discussion. It has nothing to do with anything. Michael's his own entity. It's a distributing deal. He doesn't have to discuss it. They don't have to come to an agreement about it. In fact, if Davidoff would even ask, I would be shocked.
No, you're 100% right, but I think when it comes to the fulfillment piece, I think that's where he probably needed some help with that. I mean, he could hire someone to take orders there. That's pretty easy. Or, he could do the orders himself. But I think some of the fulfillment stuff, that's probably, they didn't have to do that, is like, my point.
Who didn't have to do that?
Like Davidoff doesn't have to send someone to facilitate the fulfillment piece.
Why
Same
would
with
they?
Drew Estate with Hoya.
Why would they send someone to facilitate the fulfillment? The fulfillment happens back. I'm missing something. The fulfillment
what-
happens back at the warehouse.
It's that piece from order to warehouse. So
you're talking about sending someone as support and help.
Like, a lot of times, like when orders are
Okay.
taken, they want to turn these things around quicker.
Okay, so
yeah,
listen to me.
yeah.
So listen to me. That's twofold, right? I mean, first off, they have a business relationship together. I have business, and if someone needed my help and support, and I have the manpower, me sending someone to help
Agree.
facilitate you,
Yeah,
and especially where I'm some level, I'm pretty sure that I saw people from Drew Estate there, and they had zero presence. They want to know what's going on. They want to know.
No doubt.
They want to know what they're missing. They want to see if the vibe of the show is moving in a direction that they may say, "Hey, we want to get back in here." So, once again, that happening, I don't think has anything to do with how it feels about the trade show.
STG sent a team bigger than Matt Booth's staff to last year, and those guys were sitting around like doing nothing. Or walking the trade show floor. They weren't like working with Matt on that, but they had a team bigger than Matt's team in there, which I thought was like that's weird. They had they had a couple of marketing guys. Yeah.
It's called they got sent and paid for recon, and they probably just partied and did nothing all week.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this question.
I need these kind of jobs, Alex. Please, man, find us something. I need these kind of jobs.
Call Justin.
So let me ask Coop this question. So you might know this answer better, Coop. In the last couple of PCAs, what was the percentage of retailers? Would you say has it gone up, gone down, stayed the same?
They had They had a slight increase last year. The year before it was, I think, actually down because of we were coming out of COVID and there wasn't a lot of time to plan that show. But there was a slight increase last year. I mean, if Jay's out there, he could probably comment a little more accurately. So yeah, it was the 2021 show is a little hard to judge because, like I said, coming out of COVID, it was a smaller floor print that year. So it might have, it looked a little more crowded in 2021, but it really wasn't because it was a smaller footprint.
Salud. Gesundheit.
Yeah.
And do you think that having PCA constantly in Vegas continues to draw, or would you think it's better to have it to a different venue like South Florida, where everybody is?
I think South Florida would be a big benefit for the East Coast, no doubt. When they had it in Orlando 2012, and I know Abe could probably talk to this better than me, a lot of people went to that trade show because a lot of retailers were in Florida, just sent people there during the week. So they actually had it actually was a pretty good thing. But I know a lot of people in the East would like it in Florida. I think Vegas is the ideal place to have it because I think it just works for all the nature of our industry, though.
I think the reality of this question is there's very few venues where this is going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in Florida, I would say the only place really is like the Hard Rock.
I wasn't thrilled with, as much as I liked it being in Orlando, I wasn't thrilled at how Orlando was put together when it was in Orlando. It was in Tampa. It was in Tampa once.
Yeah.
That I can remember. The 95 Orlando one was crazy. They had 2 ballrooms in the 95 Orlando show. 95, 96, something like that. But I mean, there's very few really cities that we can even entertain this.
Yeah, because the smoking laws indoors.
Yeah,
and all of that becomes an issue. That's why I say that.
And even just the support of the town, right? I mean, just restaurants. I mean, there's a lot more to the trade show than just the trade show floor.
Yeah.
These guys want to throw parties. They want to find restaurants that they could do smoking in, and and it's a little bit more than that. So, you want to have parties and dinners. So, I like New Orleans, but look, for me, once again, I'm the hashtag who cares. I mean, if it's in Florida, great. I mean, very convenient for me. But if it's in San Francisco, Las Vegas, Juneau, Alaska, I'm going. I mean, that's the stage I am in my career. So I'm going. If you had to, my allergies just blew up. I'm sorry, everybody. If you had to, this is a completely out of my ass statement based on zero actual facts that I know, but I'd have to venture to say if you took all the PCA members and added up the volume of business they do I think the vast majority of it lies east of the Mississippi.
Yes.
So what's so bad if it's on the East Coast? You're literally accommodating the people who move the most cigars in this industry. But man, you do that, it's like it's the end of the world. You know, so having different cities, I think, is not bad, not a problem. The downside, and Steve talked about this last night, and you have to realize is, look, if you're going to move the cities, most manufacturers won't be opposed to it, but you got to stay in a city 3 to 4 years.
Yes.
You can't bop 1 year here, because that's what the trade show used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, early on, every year was a different city. You know, and then it kind of did this thing where it was like Vegas 2 years, new city, Vegas 2 or 3 years, new city, you know, but I think that's the bigger part of the equation. If you're going to go to different cities, lock it in for 3 years minimum, you know? Yeah. You know, stop being a degenerate gambler. It won't cost you so much.
Yep.
The Hard Rock costs you too much.
I think he banned himself from the Hard Rock. I don't think he can go there.
No, a couple people have been banned from the Hard Rock, actually.
No, you could ban yourself.
Yes, I know one person. I think you and I both know is banned.
Yeah. You go, you fill out a form, and they just won't let you in.
Yep.
I wonder. I'm curious. I'm gonna have to look it up. If you do ban yourself, can you ever unban yourself?
Vinny, can you unban yourself? If anybody knows, Vinny knows.
Yeah, Vinny would know probably. But, I mean, that's an interesting thing. I mean, all right, I'm a degenerate gambler or whatever. Now I haven't gambled in 20 years. I want to go through it. I wonder if you can go, or I wonder if they have like a time limit. Like if you ban yourself,
yes, you can unban yourself.
Of course you can. So yeah, here I love the casinos. We're going to help you, people with a gambling addiction. We'll support you. Come and ban yourself. The second you got an urge, we'll unban you. we'll unban you.
It's like telling your dope dealer, "Don't answer my calls anymore," and then texting him, "Okay, you can answer my call."
Right. Only a lifetime ban. Oh, so you do have to wait 5 years. There is a cool down
But you
period.
can lifetime ban yourself, so you have an option.
A lifetime ban, but you're eligible for parole in 5 years.
You got to walk around with a bracelet on, so you can't walk into the casino. How's that work?
No, they don't let you in. They scan you at the door. They catch you.
Yeah.
Facial recognition catches you. They walk you right out. 1 year, 5 year, or life. That's the option.
Okay.
1 year, 5 year, or life.
Wow.
Well, thank you for sharing.
I learned something new today. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Vinny.
Yeah.
Things you learn on a cigar show.
I feel like we're at a support group.
Vinny went for the 1 year option, if I had to guess.
Vinny's on the 1 year with 5 year options. with an option every year. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that was interesting talk. What else you got going on, Coop?
All right, Alex, is it you want me to go in order or if I switch?
Just swing it. No, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so let's just kind of get right into this segment. STG releases of the week. So we have those. There were 2 this week. So first we
I just have to stop.
Wasn't there 2? Oh no, there was 1 last week. But yeah, there's been multiple releases of the week.
So
too.
in defense, the streak that we've been having included a couple off weeks, but in all the years that you've been involved, with media, better than my lease, in all the years, is anybody else just flabbergasted or mind blown? Like, what the hell is going on here?
I think a lot of people were, last year when STG released close to 60 things, I think it got noticed, and people saying this is insanity. I know a lot of the media guys, we were seeing it because when press release comes out week after week after week, you start to. There's nothing that's come close to this at all.
I mean, this is part of their marketing strategy when they're planning a year. We're releasing this in week,
they got
21.
campaigns on each one.
Yeah.
I
mean, it really, really has to be absurd. I mean, you have to know. So what is this, 9?
9 weeks in a row, yes.
Okay.
There was a couple off weeks with the Alec Bradley acquisition, so it's been almost every week this year. I can tell you with the calendar. If we started the calendar year at the beginning, it's been almost every week. But with Alec Bradley, there was a couple weeks off there.
So this can't be the reasoning behind this. Can't be for the industry. I mean, not like the brick and mortar people. And I hope the brick and mortar people are smart enough to realize this. before they get suckered, because 80, 75 maybe percent, there's no way they could bring on these kind of many SKUs.
No, and most of these have been limited stuff, and what it's doing is it's getting impressions out there for them, and it drives other channels is what it's going to do. A catalog, it's going to drive it. I mean, every week. Yeah.
Plus, some of these things that they've been releasing are value cigars too, right? $6,
Yep.
$5. So they're getting them in not only the brick and mortars, but you're also looking at gas stations and things like that. I can see.
What are what's our releases this week?
All right, from Macanudo, they have an annual release called the Gold Label. They release it once a year.
Okay, that's not a new release.
Yeah, well, wait. But they have a special limited size for this year, and they do that every year. And Alex called this the Macanudo Nub. Actually, it's a 4.5 by 60 version of the Macanudo Gold, and that's only going to be available this year. So it is a new release.
The Gold Nugget.
The Gold Nugget, they're calling it. Thanks, Jimmy. Yeah, they actually are calling it the Gold Nugget. So
that's my wife's nickname for me.
Golden Nub. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So Macanudo comes out of the general cigar side of the house. So Ford's didn't want to be left out. So Ford's so Ford's decided they do a release this week on the Diesel. And it's another collaboration they're doing with Rabbit Hole whiskey, and it is called the Diesel Whiskey Row Founders Collection Boxer Grail. And what they're doing with that, with the Whiskey Row, is they typically take a tobacco, usually the binder, and in this case it is the binder, and they're aging it in these Boxer Grail whiskey barrels, which actually are rye barrels. They actually make them rye with it, and then they build a blend with that. And Diesel's a blend that they work with AJ Fernandez on. And I thought the packaging was pretty cool on this one this week. But it's gonna be a $15.79 diesel.
Diesel.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, it's coming. Is
that some plastic? Am I seeing a plastic cover over the cigars?
I doubt that's glass. Yeah. So I think it's got to be something like a
Oh, you would never do glass.
No. It would be so much. A few years ago, they did some Cohibas and crystal tubes, and they were the Wellers, and they were cracking all the time. I don't think they'd be crazy. So I think it is a plastic thing that's on that. The photo looks nice. So both of those are going to be hitting the stores in May. So you should be, if you want to get your STG fix from both General and Ford's, you have an opportunity this month.
Wow, the streak lives. You need to make a video graphic or a stinger for this,Alex.
I know.
I told Justin.
Have Carlos run one up, man.
Yeah. Well, listen, tell Justin we need
him. Cool, like week 10 in a row. Yeah, you gotta make a little stinger.
Call Justin. He needs to sponsor this segment.
I mentioned to him. He's like, "Oh, I got to check it out." And he's like, "You haven't checked it out yet?" I'm like, "I go giving you free advertising every week."
I don't think he's thrilled about it. May not want to sponsor.
I said, "You're doing a lot of blending, Justin." He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm really busy. I can't."
Holy cow! All right, what else you got going on, Coop?
Sad news this week. We were talking about this yesterday. Steve Zengel, the founder and CEO of Los Caitos Cigars. Caitos Cigars has passed away. I only met Steve once. Really nice guy. He started out as a retailer in New Jersey, and he had a store on the Jersey Shore. Hurricane Sandy wiped it out. He moved it. But what happened is he really got touched when a couple of first responders died in the line of duty, and he decided to create a brand, the Los Caitos brand, to help these families. And he was making these cigars out of Aganorsa leaf. Like I said, really nice guy. The focus of this brand was not so much on building a big cigar company, maybe as much as it was a lot of give back he was doing with that. And he died apparently after a short illness. We don't know how he died, but very sad news. Like I said, just when I met the guy, he was really nice, and I just regretted I never had a chance to interview him.
Super nice guy. I think he was on KMA twice. At least
on KMA. We did a couple runs here. We wanted to
stop. Motorcycle rider. I was so shocked when I heard this news. seemed like a very healthy guy, and it was just I was really
it was when I was telling you weren't catching what I was saying at first, and then you were like, "Wait, what? This guy?"
Yeah, because I just never would have expected that. I mean, I did put two and two together. I'm like, holy cow! And it's such after I never heard the expression after a short illness. So he must have had a bug, and are they thinking it had something to do with that, or it's coincidental? But I don't know. I was very sad, and I was really shocked when I heard this news this week.
Yeah, a lot of people in the industry knew him from his retail days. So, while the brand was very small, he was well known because, again, he was a retailer. And, a lot of people in the industry obviously intersected with him in New Jersey. So, there's a lot of people who just came out with stories about him and stuff like that. You mentioned the motorcycle thing. He actually started a program called Life of a Ride Time. And he basically organized motorcycle rides with cigar events.
We did one of those in West Palm. Yeah, we did one of those.
Yeah. So really, like I said, really nice guy. I talked to him at TPE in 2020, and last year we wanted to talk to him at the trade show, and we just ran out of time. And we were at that. He was in the Sutliff tobacco booth with all those companies, and that was one of the last booths we hit. And we did the bell rang to get everyone off the floor, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, our condolences go out to his family and loved ones, man, and may he rest in peace.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else, Cooper?
Yeah, I got a few other things.
I like it.
Yeah, there's a lot this week. So, Fratello Cigars, and we actually had Omar on the show Thursday to talk about this, has a project called the Lunar coming out. And what they are doing is it actually is a project they're jointly doing with yeah.
I swear to God, I thought this was something I was going to buy for my son for Christmas.
But the packaging of that is based off the Nova C lunar lander, which it's a project that's actually being privately. NASA's going a private route to have those built. The company's called Intuitive Machines. They're actually on board with Omar as far as this project goes. Omar DeFrias, the owner of Fratello, he had a career in NASA, so he built a lot.
If anybody could pull it off, it's him. I mean, really, he's
absolutely.
got the thing to pull it.
Yeah, I think it's a cool project. I think we're going to see if the lunar lander stuff captures the imagination of this country, because I go back. Jimmie, you may remember the lunar landings. I remember the last lunar landing on the moon.
I know the guys that designed the lunar module. I worked with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I said if this. So I know Omar is getting his. One thing that's interesting is Omar said that the Fratello logo is going to be taken to the moon. He couldn't put a cigar in there, but because it's just too much. I think they need to take already. But
I want to understand this. NASA is going to the moon, or is there private organizations going to the moon?
It is NASA.
Is NASA just taking sponsorship?
NASA's doing it, but it was private. Like they're going the private sector route as far as the development of this project goes.
And Omar is connected to the project?
Omar knows the guy who owns the company because he was a
which company?
It's called Intuitive Machines.
And what are they doing? Are they funding the project? Is that what it is?
They're building this.
They're building the machine.
Yeah,
but they're contracted by NASA.
They're contracted by NASA.
And he thinks that'll allow him to have the logo on the machine?
I'd like to see those configuration drawings that are approved by NASA.
Yeah, I mean, you would know more about that, Jimmie, than me. But yeah, he has said that the logo is going to the moon. Yeah. He said that, a lot of people doing part of the project, the deal with the project is the Fratello logo going to the moon. He was like, Omar was probably more thrilled about that than anything.
Would be interesting to see if that happens, because I do know that on the original lunar module on Apollo 11 that landed the first one, that the Grumman Corporation, they were able to sneak a small engraved piece of metal inside the lunar module that have all the designers and all the engineers and shit were on that, and that's sitting on the moon. And that was like against rules because there's configuration drawings, right? That and there's weight in everything. So, but just putting a logo is one thing,
Yeah, I know, but I'd be surprised if NASA would allow that. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting. I hope it does.
Yeah,
it'd be beautiful, right? To see Fratello cigars on the moon.
So is that? Can we pull that picture up again? Because I'm trying to understand this. This is a little beyond me a little bit. So
there's two different packagings.
Yeah. So
is that little piece the piece that sits on the landing piece, or is this three different things I'm looking at?
Yeah, three different things. So the thing on the left and the right are more limited. They're limited production things. And
are there cigars in there? Is that like a cigar box with cigars in it?
Yeah,
okay.
One has a Connecticut, one has a Cameroon. Now the one in the middle is more of a. It's a very limited edition. They're only doing like 175 of those. That's more. If you look at it, it's more of a humidor. It's going to have a Dominican Puro in it. That's going to be extremely limited. Is the best way to put it. And but yeah, they are different. There's three different blends and different. Two of them have identical packaging, and then the Dominican Puro has very limited packaging on it.
I gotta tell you, just looking at that logo on these lunar modules, or what you call it, man, he pulls this off. It's got to be the coolest.
Well, the logo. I don't think I think this is for the logo's not going to be the side, but yeah.
You know,
that's cool. That's very cool packaging. That wins the packaging award unless somebody does better.
That is really. I got to say that is because when you look at the Nova C, they did a really good job. With that.
Alex wanted to say something.
I feel like we got a shot.
I feel like we are it.
Well,
we got a shot coming up this year.
Tattoo.
We got stuff. We got
nope.
No, okay.
We got a shot. We got a shot.
All right.
I think we got a lock. We might have a lock on this
one.
Really.
Weird. It's weird. We got a shot. We'll be in there. We'll be in there for sure.
There's a couple more stories, but I know we're running late here on time here.
Go ahead. We're having fun.
Okay. Just want to make sure. So Drew Estates once again announced that they're going to announce a cigar. That's what they do through the Freestyle Live program.
Yes.
So they have their new Freestyle Live kit. This is the 5th one they have. So you're going to get a chance to try this blend that's unbanded. That's going to be announced by Drew Estate on June 8th. Have no idea what the blend is. What they typically do with these Freestyle Live packs is you get like the unbanded cigars, you get some swag with it, and then you're eligible to enter in for prizes. This year there's like a Rolex watch and plane tickets anywhere in the world. I think are two big prizes there. So you want to check that out. The barn smokers are coming back as well this year. There's going to be 3 barn smokers.
Yes. There was a lot of hubbub about it. I was
surprised. Because they got rid of Kentucky.
They got rid of Kentucky, and people were wondering what was happening with Florida. We were getting close to May, and they hadn't heard anything about Florida. Florida, Jeff had kind of quietly been telling people it was moving to November. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with that Florida, because we saw Jeff lost the crop this I think he'll have a new crop by then, but
that happened before. Instead of being a harvesting, you had people planting.
Yeah, he had that one year. Yeah, they had a pesticide problem that year.
Yeah.
Yep. So the barn smokers are back on. Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and Florida are going to be the 3. There's not going to be a Kentucky this year.
Wasn't there 5?
They used to have Louisiana. They cut Louisiana out last year. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of disgruntled people. But you want to know what's funny? Because we were where were we talking about it? Somewhere. But a lot of the people were just that are like complaining. I mean, this is what I'm told. I guess the VIP stuff get like some immaculate, like rare package, and it's really just a lot of them use it for a secondary market. Like you'll get like
absolutely.
So it's the fight of their opportunity to buy these things that they'll sell for 2 or 3 times, 4 times what they paid for their ticket later.
I did notice this year there was a much more of an increase of the VIP ticket this year.
Yeah, well, they're giving away that cool pack, that cool box of cigars.
H99 Flying Pigs.
Yeah. Yep.
So so it's become a real fight. It's now not even about almost the event. It's about, hey, let's get these products so we can go make some money, which is unfortunately a part of our industry. It's hard to fight.
It is, yeah. You're not gonna do it.
How do you like the website for the barn smoker?
Good.
Why did it change?
Did you design it?
My wife did.
Yeah,
there you
it's
go.
good. It's clean. It's good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Website.
Yeah. I, if I hesitate, I haven't gone deep into it, but from when I went on to it quickly, it seemed very crisp and everything. Yeah.
Yep.
What else you got going on, Coop?
Last story is Aganorsa Leaf has announced a new cigar. It's their rare leaf Maduro Rare Leaf Reserve Maduro. So that's going to complement the original Rare Leaf that's out there. They released that to basically their top tier retailers. So if you're one of their Aganorsa Select retailers, you'll be able to get that. They were kind of Terrence has kind of been showcasing that cigar on and off, but the details came out today on this week on it. So you can go check that out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any idea on when that cigar is landing? Did it say
This month.
this month? All
Yeah,
right.
before PCA. Yeah.
It's going to
Yeah.
be a big month.
May,
for
in May.
Aganorsa.
Actually, this month I'm talking May. Yeah, it will be May.
All right. Well, is that it? You got more?
That's it. That's it this week.
That was a big
Didn't-
one. Big week.
Didn't JC Newman start shipping the Angel Questas now?
Yeah, they did. I think they started actually last week with that.
Was it last week? Yeah.
Yeah, but I actually did get some. I got some of the Angel Questas. I haven't smoked it yet, but that's being made in El Rojol in Tampa. They're
Yeah,
making that cigar.
made right there in Tampa.
Yeah, so that's the second cigar they're making out of there.
Now you didn't talk about the FDA issue.
Oh,
too.
you know what? That was the
You know,
last one. Yeah, I actually did have that on there.
That's a big deal right now.
So
The scoop with Boston Jimmy.
No, I actually did have that. I just my screen was down. So, Abe, I'm kind of curious on this, right? PCA this week issued a response to how, a call to action as far as the regulations being proposed for tobacco manufacturing. I thought it was actually a good job they did, although I think there's a couple of things I probably would tweak. But they're basically asking people to sign a petition. And that petition,
I
they're
did
going to
that.
put.
I'm not even sure if it worked. I don't know if anybody else did it, but I clicked on the link. I went there, and when I hit, I did it 2 or 3 times because it just to me didn't. I don't know if it was maybe my browser or not, but it didn't. I didn't get nothing definitive saying you're.
I think when you click it, it just goes into their system and it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm sorry, Coop. Go ahead.
No, and the only thing I'll say is the only thing I would have probably did, and I haven't even talked to the PCA on this. The only thing I would have did is, I think they have to sometimes explain to people why another petition and why they need to sign this petition, because they're going to put the names. They're going to take these names and they're going to embed them into the FDA comments that they submit directly, which I think is a good message they're going to do here. But sometimes people just say, "Oh, another petition," and they just kind of throw their hands up. But I still think PCA did a good job there. And then if you want to submit comments, and submitting comments to the FDA is a tricky thing, because they look for certain types of comments. They have put some guidance out there to do that, which they haven't done in the past. So I think that was a good thing they did with that. So I got to say, it was a good response by the PCA this week on that.
You know what the PCA hasn't learned yet? Do you remember? And I'm not a member of the NRA. Do you remember any messages from the NRA?
Sure.
Yeah, what kind of messages do you remember?
I mean, I shouldn't say I remember specifically. I see messages from the MRR.
I know, me too.
Okay.
Throughout my life.
Yeah, but I don't follow I can't say I'm like.
Me neither. Me neither. But my point here is, I remember seeing a bunch of them. What do you remember? They're all videos.
Yeah.
Anytime you have something, no one's reading shit.
They did do a video. They did do a video with this.
Where is it?
It's when you it's actually on their call to action page. They have a video that shows how to submit the comment. Are you talking a video that explains the problem?
How to submit the? I mean, listen to me.
You need to have a video where they're going into a factory in Nicaragua and showing how that whole process now is going to.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I agree.
Jimmy,
bringing in government officials. I mean,
it doesn't even need to be that difficult. It could be just a compelling guy talking and connecting people. It's very important, people. You need to get involved, do that, because that's what people will sit there and watch for 30, 40 seconds before they're going to read something. Because you're right, Coop.
You're right.
You're not really sure what you're signing about. I mean, look, I'm in the business. I sign every petition. Here you go. Click, 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 click.
Yeah.
But, the day of reading stuff, it's over. Make a video. Throw it on your Instagram. Throw it on. You'll get more people watching it. If you put it on social media, you'll get people who aren't PCA members who watch it, who may sign the petition for you anyway. It's a simple thing. Get a backdrop studio. Get one of these guys in the organization who's a really good talker, a very empathic speaker that can reach people. 30, 40-second videos, all you need. People react to videos.
Yeah, and Jimmie could probably speak to this too, because what we do is I think we try to hit as many media channels as possible, or formats, right? So we have written stuff there because there are people who still read, And there are videos, which I've done a lot more of in recent years with my cigar of the year, and I know, Jimmie, you do it as well. So we do find that you want to hit as many channels as possible. with
You're a
that.
completely different entity, Coop. People are coming to you. They want to read information. They're looking for the data, right? They're reaching people who aren't reaching out to them, who aren't coming to them. They need to make videos.
Yeah,
They need
no,
to
I
really
don't
make
disagree.
a video. They will have such a better response, and they can communicate the importance of things better. You can't emote your feelings in text. It's very, very hard. And you know, like I said, I've never been a member of NRA, never followed NRA, but I tell you what, I could probably remember half a dozen Charlton Heston videos that I saw throughout my life of, you know, about the importance of NRA.
I agree. Yeah, that's a great point. The Charlton Heston's like, I haven't. People
it's embedded in my brain.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
All right. Well, please visit cigar-coop.com for always up-to-date news, always teaser, and we're free. Did you catch a Steve Saka dig at you last night?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's my response to him. I built a pretty good brand off of it, so why would I change it? But I don't understand his comment about, well, what have I teased? What have I teased ever?
He's claimed that you have teased or something. And the defense was verbally. You'll never do it in print. Sometimes you'll tease something in a verbal form.
Verbally? Yeah, I'm I want some concrete examples. Like, I'm gonna have that conversation with him. I didn't want to derail the dojo show last night, but yeah, I heard that. I didn't quite get it.
I want a front row seat when you have that conversation with him. Just let me know.
Absolutely.
That could be a pay-per-view conversation right there.
I can't wait to hear it. Yeah.
All right. Let's wind this up. We're going over, but we are going to go to episode number 7 of Tale of the Tape, season 6. All right, why don't you flash Paul's pick real quick? Is that the New Orleans one?
I don't know, Princess Tiana. So
yeah, New Orleans. Actually,
Tale of Tape top 10 heartthrobs of all time, and Paul and his Disney
Number 3.
Number 3.
That's a Princess and the Frog, isn't that?
I think so. Correct.
So I guess she beat the frog out.
Yes.
Actually, the soundtrack to that particular Disney one is actually one of my kids' favorite. They sing the songs in the house for it all the time. So,
well, bringing us back to normalcy, Abe, who's your number 3 pick for greatest heartthrobs of all time?
I was really hoping you were going to go to Coop first, because because I know my last 3. I just want to get the right order. Hold on, because I'm pulling up my list.
I can go if you want.
No. I believe I went with Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
God, she's awesome. I love this chick. Even better is Black Widow. Stunning.
Oh, man.
And let me tell you something. Okay? Yeah, she's gorgeous. Yeah, she's hot. But if you really would like to see what kind of trooper she is, like her personality, she was on an episode of Hot Ones. Does anybody know this show?
Yes.
She was on an episode of Hot Ones, and man, it just makes you love this chick even more.
Yes.
Go watch it. She actually went all 10 wings to the 2 million Scoville wings.
She went the distance.
She went the distance, ate all 10, and she was awesome. Fell in love with her more even after that, but that's my number 3.
All right, so for me, coming in at number 3, I'm in the hip hop and R&B realm, and couldn't be a list without Janet Jackson, of course.
Yeah,
Janet Jackson in her day was a smoke show.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite album covers ever.
Nasty.
Absolutely. How could it be nasty?
I mean, why isn't there an article about the guy who got to be on that album cover?
Right? Who is that?
I mean, that's like a very important person in history. You know, sometimes credit's just not given where credit's due.
Yes, Janet Jackson.
I wonder if they actually paid him for it, right? Yeah, you got to have good hands. So they just couldn't use it because I know guys would have paid.
Right.
You could have auctioned that shit off for charity. That would have raised a lot of money for autism right there.
Johnny
yeah.
also
Right? There you go.
notorious for the Super Bowl nip slip as well. Can't leave that out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but she wasn't looking half as good as she was back in them
No,
days.
no.
That was, I'm going to tell you the album, if I had to guess, 91. 90 or
Early.
91.
Yeah, absolutely early.
90 or 91. Somebody look it up, but I'm guessing that album is
I think
90
it
or
was
91.
a little later than that.
90 or 91.
Let's see. Janet album. 93.
Yeah, I thought it was a little later because Rhythm Nation was around 90.
93. You got me.
Yeah.
You got me.
Rhythm
93.
Nation was 89. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Copa.
All right, so someone guessed this on our previous one of this person being on. Again, timeline of my life, who smitten me, and this woman, it's Olivia Newton-John. So here's what's interesting. She's famous for being in Greece, right? She goes from the wholesome girl in Greece to like does a complete transformation, right? And becomes like more aggressive woman. She did that in real life as well. For a long time, she was known as that wholesome singer, and then she goes and does physical, and it's a complete transformation of her. I don't know if anyone else has done that from a character and then taken that in real life, but she certainly did that. And
I mean, I always thought she was cute, good-looking girl. You know.
Again, who smitten me the most? She totally smitten me back in the late 70s, early 80s. I mean, physical was just Abe. When physical came out, I mean, what's that video?
Get physical. Yeah.
I mean, that was just, she pushed it to the edge with that. That was groundbreaking. Before
Jimmie, heartthrob of your life. Heartthrob of your life.
Number 3, Drew Barrymore. Wholesome, always just love the look that she has. Every film she's ever done, even when you see her at events, she's just always growing, followed her whole career. I just adore Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
And still looks good.
It still doesn't look bad. Yeah, it still doesn't look bad.
Still looks good.
Yeah.
She's our age.
Yeah, she's our, like I said.
Yeah, there's some that have aged like milk.
Most of it's not even age, it's all the surgery. It's jacked them up. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmie, listen, thank you for coming on. I hope you spread your message out a little bit. Guys, please look for the link. Help his cause. He's climbing a mountain. Which one is it again?
Mount Fuji, you raised 1,100 already for Smoke Inn so far, top of the heap.
Fuji. I keep saying Kilimanjaro. That's what Lou Rothman climbed. Fuji. Mount Fuji's climbing Mount Fuji for autism. There's a link. Donate. And when you donate, if you're watching our broadcast, put Smoke in the comments there. Maybe we'll get a little Abe on top of Mount Fuji. Take a picture with Boston Jimmie. That would be pretty cool. So
hat, shirt.
There you go. Check it out. We hope we entertained you. We hope you had fun. Please check us out on all our social media outlets, YouTube, Facebook, and join our private group, Smokin' Social on Facebook. Great place to hang out. Until next week, everybody, keep it lit.